Okay. So, good afternoon, Siddharth. My name is Arun, and I welcome you to the YourPedia platform. So let's start your snap for structure analysis, and you're going to appear for MS interview in IIT Madras, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please give me a little bit small introduction,
Yes.
then we can start.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Siddharth Bhumik, and I belong to Silchar, Assam. I have done my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Silchar. After that, I joined B.Tech Civil Engineering at NIT Silchar. Last year, I have completed my B.Tech with 9.23 CGPA. Then, coming to my skills, I have a good knowledge in AutoCAD. I have done an internship in PWD building, where I have learned the different piling construction of rough foundation. Then I have done an online sound internship from IIT Guwahati, where I have analyzed and designed a residential building using StatPro software. And in my final year project, I have analyzed and designed a G+3 residential building using StatPro software with structural detailing and manual calculations of all the building components. And during my B.Tech, I have a strong inclination towards structural dynamics and earthquake engineering because I have always have an interest in this domain, and I tried to learn some of the part of this domain, but I could not able to complete the whole course due to the limitation of time as the field is so vast. So I feel that the MS research will be a great platform which will help me to increase the knowledge in this domain, and at the same time the knowledge will be helpful for the society also.
Okay, Siddharth. So, in structural engineering, which area do you want to do research on? Earthquake engineering or anything else?
The normal structural analysis, but but for MS research I have an interest in structural dynamics and earthquake engineering.
Okay, structural dynamics or earthquake engineering. Any specific project that you have any idea that which is going on in IIT Madras, which you think that you would like to work on?
So, like in structural dynamics, there is a very research going on different materials that will be used in base isolation technique. How can you optimize the material in base isolation?
Okay, right now, which material is used in base isolation?
So, like steel plates are used, and in research they are finding some waste material that can be used for base isolation.
What kind of waste material?
So, like like in base isolation, we also use the rubber rubber membrane. So in waste, we can form a similar kind of material by from plastics or any other like metals that is a waste.
Okay. Okay. Okay, what is the difference between cable and arch?
So arches are basically a structure. There are two types of arches, like a 3-inch arch or a 2-inch arch. 3-inch is a determinate structure. It is similar to beam. If we bend the beam and supported on a support, then there will be a horizontal thrust that will be acting on the arch. But in cable, it is a reverse of the. If we reverse the thrust, reverse the arch, then it will be the shape of the cable. But in cable, the property of cable is that it cannot take the bending moment. In everywhere, we can have zero bending moment. It can take only tensile forces, but there is no such case in arches.
Okay. So you said something about determinant structures and what are determinate and indeterminate structures?
Determinate structures are those which can be in which the static indeterminacy is zero, in which we have the number of reactions are equal to the number of equilibrium equations, so we can easily analyze it. But in statically indeterminate structure, the static indeterminacy is more than one. So we have to analyze it with some proper methods, like we can use force method or displacement method. Like we can use the displacement method like moment distribution or slope deflection, or in force method we can use the energy method or compatibility methods.
Okay. Out of these both structure, determinate and indeterminate structure, which of the structures will have more deflection for the same load?
Sorry, sir, it is not.
Suppose you have one determinate structure and another indeterminate structure, and
Yes.
same amount of load you're applying on both the structures. Which of the structure will show more deflection?
So in indeterminate structure, the deflection will be less, and the indeterminate structure, the deflection will be more. So in case of designing, we prefer the indeterminate structure due to less deflection.
Okay. Can you tell me about the B.Tech project that you did in your college, the major project?
The project.
Yeah, major project.
So in my project, I have analyzed and designed a G+3 residential building using StatPro software.
Okay, StatPro software you used and you designed. Okay. Take care. Can you tell me in what ways the design of a multi-story building is different from a single-story building, or there is no difference?
Sorry, sir, it is not him. I cannot hear.
Is there any difference between the design of a multi-story building from a as compared to a single-story building or not?
Yes, sir. So in for multi-story building, we have to take care of many such provisions. Like if in multi-story building, we have to take care of proper foundation. Like depending upon the soil, if if the structural load is very heavy, we have to go for raft foundation or pile plus raft foundation. But in simple for a simple structure, uh, uh, we can go for any isolated footing or combined footing. And in multi-story building for earthquake resistant design, there is a provision that we have to go for dynamic analysis. But in normal structure, we can go for static analysis of structure.
Which type of footing you provided in that building that you designed?
So in my design, we have provided the isolated footing.
So you checked the bearing capacity of the soil, or you provided without any checking the facts or without any data?
Sorry, sir?
Did you check the bearing capacity of the soil before providing isolated footing or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The bearing capacity we have checked. Like it was around 150 kilonewton per meter square.
How do you check the bearing capacity?
So actually, the data was provided by our professor.
How can we check the bearing capacity at the location?
So in field, we can check the bearing capacity by using plate load test.
प्लेट लोड टेस्ट ओके बताओ क्या होता है प्लेट लोड टेस्ट थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करो
Sorry, sir?
Can you explain me the procedure of the plate load test that we follow?
Yes, sir. So in plate load test, first of all, we have to dig the ground. and then at a specified depth, we have to place the plate. The plate can be of dimension like 75 centimeter, the standard dimension of plate. We have to put the plate at the base, and the size of the feet is must be should not be less than the 5 times the dimension of the plate. So after placing the plate, we apply the load by using hydraulic jack or truss loading. Then we have to increase the load until the failure or until the soil fails, or there is a settlement of 25 mm, whichever is minimum. So after that, we have to plot the load settlement curve. So for the load settlement, from the load settlement curve, we can determine the bearing capacity.
Okay. What are the compatibility equations?
Sorry, sir.
What are compatibility equations?
The compatibility equation is a equation which gives the relationship between the known deformations and the unknown forces. So if a structure like any indeterminate structure like prop cantilever, so we can use the compatibility because at the prop end we know that the deformation will be 0. So from that we can get the unknown forces. So it helps in analyzing the unknown forces.
Okay. What do you mean by ILD?
The influence line diagram is basically the representation of the variation of stress functions like bending moment, shear force, and reactions in response of the moving loads over any structure.
दोबारा बताओ एक बारी.
The influence line diagram is a representation of the variation of stress functions like bending moment, shear force, and reaction in response to the moving loads over the structure. So it can be determined by using the Muller-Breslau principle. Like it states that the for any stress function like bending moment, shear force, or reaction, if we apply any unit load to the structure, then the deflected shape will be the influence line diagram for that load.
If you have suppose a simply supported beam with two ends A and B, what will be the ILD for reaction at A?
So can you repeat? In simply supported beam.
Simply supported beam है आपके पास. Left support is there, right support is there. You have to draw the ILD for reaction at the left support.
Reaction at support.
Reaction at the left support or right support, any support.
Okay. Reaction. Yes, sir, it will be a triangular.
Triangular what?
Yes.
Okay. Can you show me the diagram that you have made on your paper?
So it is visible or?
Okay. What is the maximum ordinate? 1. Is there
Yes,
any dimension? 1 meter or 1 millimeter square? Any dimension is there or just 1?
For reaction, it has no unit.
Okay. Take care. Can you tell me the code that we follow in case of earthquake loading?
So in earthquake resistant design, we use IS 1893 2016, the latest version.
Okay. And apart from other type, apart from this earthquake loading, other type of loadings are covered in which code?
So like dead load, live load, wind load, these are covered in IS 875 part 1, part 2, part 3.
Okay. So which type of load you said? Dead load, live load, and
wind load,
wind load. इसके अलावा there is any other kind of load?
snow load.
Okay, snow load. Okay. How many zones the whole country is divided according to the earthquake?
Sorry, sir.
Based on the severity of earthquakes that we can
Yes.
get, how many zones the country is divided into?
Sir, there are 4 zones. Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5.
Okay. Why not zone 1?
Sir, because Zone 1 is there is very less chances of earthquake. So we don't define this for for earthquake zone.
Okay, your Assam or the Silchar falls in which zone?
So it comes under Zone 5.
Okay, zone 5. There is a very important highway project that ends in Silchar. Can you name that project?
Sir, what you have said?
A very important highway ends in Silchar. Can you name that highway or that road project?
So in Silchar, there is a highway that is under construction, like which connects the east-west corridor, like from Silchar to Saurashtra, which is under construction.
Silchar to Saurashtra.
Yes, sir.
Saurashtra is not a place, na? It's just a region. Can you name the place, the east end of the east-west corridor? Sorry, the west end of the east-west corridor. East end is Silchar only, na?
Sorry, sir, I can't.
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि सिलचर से शुरू हो रहा है ना, फिर खत्म कहाँ पर हो रहा है? What is the west
Sir,
end of that east-west
I think
corridor?
Porbandar.
Yeah, Porbandar. That's what I'm asking. Okay. ठीक है. Okay, Siddharth, let me give you feedback. ठीक है, Siddharth, your knowledge is good. As you have said that you have got a 9 plus CGPI in your college, so you must have studied the subjects
Yes,
in
sir.
well. And but the thing is, since you are going to appear for the MS research,
Yes, sir.
and most of the question will be from your, I think more will be from your this B.Tech project and your there is this interest that you said, which is the area of interest that you're interested in, dynamic engineering and earthquake
Yes.
engineering, that structural dynamics and earthquake engineering. So my advice to you would be that that please go through certain things that, or the certain projects that are
Yes.
being, that are under progress in IIT Madras.
Yes, sir.
Right? You're going to appear for IIT Madras interview, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So just Google the professors who are with the structural engineering, and what projects they are working on.
Yes,
And
sir.
what kind of work is being done in other IITs also. You must
Yes.
have an idea ki what kind of work is being done in terms of earthquake engineering or the structural dynamics, so that you can say those words over there. Because when you will drop those keywords, the professor is bound to be impressed.
Yes, sir.
There is high chance that the professor will be impressed and they will accept you, because this MS is little bit different from MTech.
Yes,
Here
sir.
the more focus will be on research. So rather than checking your previous knowledge and asking you about 10 other things, they will ask you about the project on which you want to do research and how your work is going to combine, or is going to be in what you can say is
Yes, sir.
yeah, is close to their work. That's what I'm saying. How your work is close to their work, or how your work is going to benefit them. That's what
Yeah.
their objective is. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah. So just prepare some background, do some research, and find out the research projects that are being there, which are under progress in IIT Madras, and how your interest can align with those projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, and a little bit more focus on your B.Tech project, that you have done the design, how you have designed. When I asked you about the bearing capacity, you said the data was provided by the professor. So what was your role? You should highlight your role, that I did this thing, and I did the dynamic testing, I did that, You just only said I did the design in STAD-Pro, because it seems like the whole thing was done by STAD-Pro only. What was your contribution? So you should highlight your contribution more.
Yeah.
I took the data, I cross-checked the design from the IS code or whatever you did in your project. So highlight your own contribution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And otherwise, your knowledge is fine. I mean, whatever question that I have asked, you have answered, I think, well, and just a little bit of things about your research and about your project. Otherwise, it's fine. Okay.
Sir, I have a query that I have chosen my area of interest is structural dynamics and earthquake engineering. So, in what kind of means do we have to prepare for this? Means the whole part.
Whole part,
means do we have to prepare for means the structural dynamics, because I have a little bit of knowledge about this, not in-depth knowledge.
No, I think if you want to pursue your project in earthquake engineering or structural dynamics, I think you should go through a little bit like find in your structure book, is there any chapter on structural dynamics, or is there any special, sometimes this book will come on the earthquake design. So go through it, and starting first or 2 chapters where you can get the basics. How structure behaves and what are the parameters that, and you said about the base isolation. So check about what is the base isolation, what is the actual process that is being that is going on there, and what are the materials that are being used. And when I asked you about the alternative material, you said plastic. Now that's very generic answer. So you should be more specific, because they will expect that from you, that you're gonna pursue research in this. So you must be a little more specific. Which kind of plastic, or plastic having which properties is suitable. Not each and every plastic is suitable, na? So a little bit more specific. Do a little bit more research. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm saying just don't focus much on the B.Tech subjects, because that is good. That you already know. Do more focus on this research thing, that okay, if I'm saying base isolation, do I know everything about the base isolation or not? If I'm saying alternative materials, do I know any alternative material that I can say? Because at least you should know 1 or 2. And then if I'm saying about structural dynamics, then they can ask, what is structural dynamics, how it is important, how it is coming into picture in a building design. So you should know how it is important and how it is relevant. So that is important. Okay. Yeah, that's my advice. Baki, yeah, you can prepare, and if you have any doubt, we can do another session and we can explore more. Okay. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.